advertising time. Alright, so in this advertising time video, I would like to go over 3 more tips I have to help you advertise that book of yours, and how to help yourself sell more books or give you a leg up if you haven't published yet. Tip number 1. So for my first tip, it's get yourself a writing agent. I have not done this yet. Not that I haven't tried. I actually have. I've been trying to get a writing agent, but there's some issues which I'll get into in a few seconds. Let me start by saying, if you are not published yet and you are looking to get published, look at getting a writing agent first. Apparently, from some videos I've watched on YouTube that come straight from writing agents themselves, they mainly look for unpublished authors. Now, I'm not entirely sure if a author who's published through an actual publishing house is given a writing agent, but I'm guessing they are. They may have to go find one themselves, but being a part of a company might make it easier, because I recently watched some videos on what writing agents do, how to make a query letter, what to include, and during these videos, one of the companies said that most writing agents do not take on self-published authors. As a self-published author, so far, this has been true, which honestly I find very curious, due to the fact that if an author is self-published, I don't see why they wouldn't take on a self-published author, because that should show the agent that as a self-published author, we are willing to put in the work. We are willing to do what we can, because most of us have to do all our own marketing, all our own advertising, all our own website building. I mean, unless you can afford, like some self-published authors who can afford to go out there and spend all that. But if you are a self-published author, then you know it's not cheap, and either you learn this and do it yourself, or you're paying big dollars to get it done. And me, as a single father, I don't have that kind of money. I have to do it all by myself. I market myself, I advertise myself, I do all my own writing. I've even done most of my book covers, which I know they say never do, but, you know, everybody who has seen my book covers loves my book covers. And I've actually gone back over book covers I've done, basically redid the entire thing pretty much from scratch and made it even better. I try to learn a little bit each day. So as a self-published writer, I do a lot of my own work. So I'm not quite sure why writing agents don't go after self-published authors. That should be their primary objective, because then they can sell the self-published author to a big writing company. Now, I'm sure there are writing agents out there that have taken on self-published authors. Maybe the ones that have sold a lot of books. Honestly, I think that's not probably the best idea, because obviously that person's already doing something right, and they could go sell themselves to a big company and say, hey, look, here, I've already got a big following. Look, if you bring me on and you hire me, then you get my work to sell, and I'll sign with you. Whereas a small self-published author, they're still working on building themselves up. They're still working on creating that writing platform and learning all they can to be self-published. So, I mean, I'm not trying to discourage anyone from getting a writing agent. I'm just saying, if you are not published, do that first. Learn what it takes to get a writing agent. Then go out and try. don't let yourself be held up either while you wait for one to come around. If you want to go with a big company, start sending those off. Maybe you'll get an agent before. Maybe if you get it with a big company, they'll give you a writing agent. I don't know. All I do know is that from what one agency said, they do not take on self-published authors, and most others won't either. But moving on. Tip number 2, YouTube. Now, in my last tip, I talked about doing things yourself. You can do that. It's going to take a lot of learning. It's going to take a lot of practice. The best resource you have as a writer is YouTube. It is free. There are people out there that can teach you what you need to know. For me, my best source that I can spotlight, give a shout out to, is Dale from Self-Publishing with Dale. He is a YouTuber who gives writers lots of good advice on self-publishing. He also has, I believe, a course where he works with you one-on-one and helps you out a little. I will post a link to his channel in the description below. Also, if you need help with the writing process, check out a channel of a writer named Jenna Moreci. I have watched a lot of her videos, and they can be a little direct, but they can also be helpful. Tip number 3, self-promoting ads. If you are writing a series, or if you have written another book, at the back of your book, whatever you're currently releasing, you should be including an ad for your own work, as well as a link or a web address of your website and your Twitter and any other social media. Because if one person picks up that book and they're looking through the end of it, they can see that at the back and say, oh, this writer has written other things. And then they can go look for those titles. Like I said in my first video, with an ad swap, you can put those same ads you wrote out for another author and put it in your own work. That way, you can also promote yourself. And I will throw in a bonus, as Dale would do. So, bonus tip for this video, which kind of goes along with number 3, a future ad of your own work. For example, I just released The Guardian of Light and The Voyage of Fate. I have not revealed on Twitter, Facebook, anywhere, the name of the next book. Obviously, it's going to be called The Guardian of Light. But what is the subtitle going to be? To find that out, when people buy the paperback of book 3, there is a page at the back which includes the full title of the next book, which will come out in November. So, that way, my readers get an extra little special something for buying the paperback. So you can do things like that. So, if you like fantasy and you want to check out my book and see what I've done to promote my series besides YouTube, then please go on Amazon or go on my website. The links will be in the description below, and check out my books. It's a fantasy series set in modern day, and I cannot tell you how many people have loved my book. Just the other day, I had a customer stop and tell me how much she loved the first book. And she didn't even know yet that book 2 and 3 were already out. So I'm sure she's going to go pick that up as quick as possible. But if you like fantasy, I think you'll really like what I got for you. So with that said, I want to thank you all for watching, and happy writing.